All right, so we are going to go ahead and get started. We have a small but mighty crew. The good news is Megan is recording this, and we'll be able to use this conversation elsewhere as well. So, good morning. My name is Linda Broadfoot. I'm the CEO here at Second Helpings, and happy Giving Tuesday. It is Giving Tuesday, which means our team is busily trying to call well over 2,000 donors just to thank them for their support of our work today. Um, and yeah, we are of course raising money like every other nonprofit in the country. And we have a $55,000 match from JRA Architecture and an anonymous family today. So we're really, really fortunate to get to do what we do. And we have so many folks who support the work that Adriane does and so many others here at Second Helpings. Adriane Rios is our Director of Partner Relations, and today's conversation is going to be centered around our partnerships in the community. We're going to do a little Q&A, and Adriane's going to enlighten us all on what our partnerships look like and how folks come to us and how we are serving well over 200 community programs in Greater Indianapolis. So, we've been talking a lot leading up to this Giving Tuesday about how, support to Second Helpings can make ripples throughout your community. And I heartily say that, supporting Second Helpings is really a way to support any cause or issue that you care about in our community because we are touching so many, and Adriane will talk a little bit more about that. So, first, I'm going to ask Adriane to come off mute, introduce herself, and then I'll start asking her some questions.
Hi, everyone. I'm Adriane Rios. As Linda said, I'm the Director of Partner Relations here at Second Helpings. And just like everybody else here, I think I like to say I have the best job here at Second Helpings because I get to work with all of our community partners and get to know you all. I've been in this role for about a year and a half. I was previously with Second Helpings years ago as the Volunteer Services Manager and loved it so much I had to come back a couple of years ago. So I'm grateful to be here and to be able to support Second Helpings and also serve the community.
Nice. Thanks, Adriane. So, we talk about we've got over 200 community partners. Who are they? Where are they coming from? What all kinds of people and organizations are we helping to serve?
Yeah, so I mean, so they're all organizations, within Marion County and the 8 other counties surrounding us. We serve programs that shelters for unhoused, community centers, after-school programs, recovery centers, senior centers, you name it. Um, Nonprofit, tax-exempt organizations, typically, and I mean, they're some of the guys you hear about every day, like Wheeler Mission, the Boys and Girls Clubs, Indy Parks, shout out to Amy, and lots of other places. Many of them receive meals from us every day or, redirected items once a week. And some of them, maybe they're just getting one meal a month for their church's community meal. It's whatever makes the most impact for their organization and whatever is most beneficial for what they're trying to do.
So kids, adults, seniors,
Yeah,
families, unhoused.
so for kids, so we serve about 20% of all the 200 partners. We're serving about 20% kids, 57% as adults, and then the other like 25-ish percent, 23, 25-ish is seniors. So adults make up the vast majority of it. Um, and we in the way that we count it, a lot of times we count it as families. So, we're serving a whole family of folks. It might not be just a senior program or an after school program. It could be a whole family that's being served at the Salvation Army Women's Center or wherever they may be going.
Yeah, yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
How do folks become partners? What does it take to be a Second Helpings partner?
So it's pretty easy. You just let me know. You just reach out to me. You reach out to me, let me know. We also have a form on our website that's just an interest form. And when any partner submits it, it comes immediately to me. I'll just reach out to understand what partners need it or what their potential need is. And then we kind of go from there because the services we offer, we really kind of tailor to each partner. So maybe they're needing meals, or maybe they're needing redistributed items. Maybe they think they need meals, but redistributed items are more helpful. So it really just depends on what they're getting in terms of the road that we take from there. And everyone will complete a very simple partnership agreement. We do require most of our partners to be certified in food safety, from the most basic food handlers online, certification to a serve safe manager's level, whatever is easiest and most beneficial to them. And then also we have them provide us with their tax exempt document for wherever they may be. And then if they're going to be receiving hot meals, we do require that they're have a licensed kitchen by the Board of Health, but that's only if they're receiving congregate style meals. We provide meals in three different ways to our partners. We provide them congregate style. We provide them individual frozen. A lot of those go into the pantry system. And then we also provide sandwiches to a lot of our partners who maybe they don't have a licensed kitchen, or maybe they're doing some sort of mobilized outreach, whatever the case may be. But that license is definitely something that's just for if they're going to be receiving meals that they're going to heat and serve. So it's pretty easy. I mean, once we get all of those things, then I mean, it could be a matter of like a week or two, or a month. It just depends on what all they may have to do on their end to get ready for that. I mean, one good example actually is just this morning. I spoke with a lady in a Haitian community here in on the west side of town, and she's just wanting to serve her community on what their Thanksgiving Day is, which is January 1st. And it was explaining to her what Second Helpings does and how we're not really set up for one-time events, but does her church or the center where she's going to be doing the meal out of, do they have a pantry? Do they do any sort of service like that? She's like, well, no, but that would be a good idea. And I was like, well, why don't you just come in, we'll meet, and we can help you get started with that. So that's when I really that's she didn't even have that idea until she called. And it's like, well, you're thinking about one meal, but what if you could do more than that? And that's what we're really good at here, I think, is being able to help people do serve their community in every way possible, not just one time, but throughout the year.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's amazing. I know you and I talk about this a lot, Adrian. We want to make sure we have as few barriers as possible to access to anything Second Helpings has to offer, right? We don't charge. We deliver as much food as possible to our partners. We try to streamline processes. You'll offer, a lot of sort of moral support and technical support as folks are trying to get through. The flip side is, of course, food safety is paramount as well. So it's a balance that we're always trying to strike to make sure the folks who are serving the meals, have the training and what they need so that we can ensure that the folks eating the meals are healthy. So yeah, that's terrific. Um, what you use the word redirect. I, of course, know what that means. You
Yeah.
want to talk a little bit more about what that is and how partners can benefit from that?
So, I mean, that is about 50% of what we do anymore. At least that's what it feels like, is we rescue close to 4.5 million pounds of food a year, but we really only have the capacity to keep about a third of that. And then that third is what we use to make those hunger relief meals. The rest of it, we redistribute back out to the community to places who have food pantries, or maybe they're preparing meals on site. So like Amy on the call from Indy Parks comes every week to get some food for their pantry, and um, it's it's one of the neatest things because it's being able to get food directly to directly to the end consumer in a lot of ways and allowing them to do with it what they would like to do with it. And us not saying, well, here's a meal the way that we would prepare it, or, here's all of these items that we think would be helpful to you. It's just getting it all out there and allowing them to have that choice of what are they going to do with it in the end. And it's just so much waste and so much, I think, lack of education around the sell by dates versus use by and best by. I was just talking to a pantry and their volunteer team about that a couple of weeks ago. Um, so it's really great to be able to see all of this incredibly fresh, healthy food going into the pantry system. And it's so easy. I mean, for us, it's literally just taking it off of the truck and saying, oh, okay, here it is. You guys just come and get it. The hardest part is having enough parking spots for everybody to be able to like park. Um, but that's become such a big part of what we do. And it's nice to have that option to be able to provide to folks with meals of, well, yeah, if you would like a meal we make, Tuesday and Thursday, you could also come to Redirects to get food one day of the week and maybe prepare your own meal on Wednesday or Friday the way that you might want to make it or whatever the case may be.
Yeah, yeah. In the last month when we did this, I talked a lot about the new warehouse. You anticipate that impacting the quality or quantity of our distribution of pantry goods?
Yes, it's going to be so great. So the nice thing is that right now, we're really every reader or redistribution session is at its capacity. Like we have so many partners coming, and while I mean I say that, somebody just yesterday was like, "Can I start coming on Thursday?" I was like, "Sure." I mean, it's like just know that it's going to be crowded. But I think that's what's going to be so great is we're going to be able to spread out. Everyone's going to be able to have a little bit more room as they're shopping through things. And there's going to be more of a variety because we'll be able to hold on to things a little bit longer and not have to turn them over quite so quickly. If we receive something that we know many of our partners would really benefit from, we can hold on to that for a day or two longer rather than having to immediately get it out of here to make room for more. And then, yeah, just being able to accommodate more partners who are wanting to attend those sessions on a weekly basis or monthly basis will be wonderful.
Yeah.
So there's going to be a lot of benefits to it, and it's exciting. So, yeah.
You mentioned earlier this is your second tour of duty, though you've been in this role now for a year and a half. Even just in that time, or since you were here before, what kind of trends or changes have you seen or are you witnessing now?
Yeah, I mean, definitely over the past, 11 months, all of the pantries and partners who serve, congregate meals for sure have seen an increase in their attendance. So that's been the biggest thing is it's the same story, and everyone is just working so hard to feed their neighbors and their community. And it's been trying to accommodate that, right? Like trying to make sure that we have enough of the fresh items that they need when they come to these redirect sessions, and also being able to maintain that flexibility within our production schedule to be able to go up and down on their quantity based off of what their needs might be. So, some people at the beginning of the year maybe started out needing, only 3 pans of food, and now they're needing six. So it's been a really big increase. And then also just the number of people wanting to start a pantry and even start a community meal. All of it something that have really just kind of um, become more common this year. And the other thing I was kind of thinking about with it too is uh, just the volume of people wanting to help, right? Like, I mean, I think of, my first 6 months here from like May till last December, the volume of people reaching out. wasn't nearly as much as it has been over the past 11 months. Just people wanting to do something or anything that they can to be able to meet the need.
Yeah, even just in the last few weeks, right? Like I've said, not that I'm looking for any silver lining to the SNAP crisis or, the situation that happened a few weeks ago, but the good news is that a light was shined on the issue of hunger, and folks really did answer the call and have been coming out to volunteer, donate food, donate.
Yeah,
So the community is really responding. We can, of course, hope that they'll continue to respond,
right.
because we know some of those larger SNAP changes and other things have a much longer term impact than just the delay that folks saw in November.
Yeah.
Um, speaking of things in the news, there's a lot about winter contingency right now. Can you sort of explain what that is to the best of your knowledge, and then explain what role we have in that?
Yeah, so I was just thinking about that this morning as I was getting ready to come to work about like, wow, what a first night for winter contingency because it literally just started yesterday. So, what that is, for some of you who may not know, is the city partners with different shelters throughout town or different organizations to be able to provide housing for folks in the community during the winter months who may not have a home. There's, a men's shelter, a women's and children's shelter, a family shelter, and then even just some overnight beds available at different places around town. So some of our partners are connected with the winter contingency, and they will reach out to us to provide an increase in the number of meals they're receiving to accommodate those extra folks that'll be coming. And then also just with the shelters that open temporarily, we partner with them to provide redirected items for them to be able to prepare the meals there in whatever style they may need, and just any way that we can possibly help. With it being December, and meal numbers kind of being down, we're able to provide a lot more this time of year. So hopefully, kind of like stock them up really, really well with food and extra items. But that's the way that we help. And again, that flexibility that we, do so well here of being able to just kind of go with the flow and be able to meet someone's need when they reach out. It might not be exactly what is needed at that time, but we can always provide a solution. And just like the redirected items are such a good solution to so many of those things.
Yeah, that's great. My last question for you will hopefully go out on a high note. What talk about some feedback that you get from partners?
So one thing that we started over the past year was we put these QR codes on all of our individual frozen meals, and we were doing it with sandwiches for a while, but really just the individual frozen meals. And so someone who, receives it can just in real time tell us what they think, whether they think it's great, what they liked about it. And some of the ones we've received lately have been really good. There was one lady who said the mac and cheese was better than her grandma's, which I thought was really exciting. And then another one just was like, I would love to know the recipe to this. So it's really good to be able to get the feedback because it allows us to immediately uh, do something different if it's not the best, or if it is really good, to be able to say, hey, we need to make more of that mac and cheese. So it's really, really helpful. And that's just one thing we've done over the past year. And spice level is always something. Everybody has a different tolerance when it comes to spices. So we'll forever be battling that one. I think it depends on the chefs in the kitchen that day. But it's fun to receive all that feedback, and it's really good, and it's good to know what feeds people's spirit, right? Like what's more than just nourishing our body. It's also just feeding, your like just emotional state, your well-being, your spirit for the day and how it makes you feel. So getting stuff like that makes them reminisce about the way they had macaroni and cheese or family recipe that's the best.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I'll, make sure to kind of put a highlight on that. We survey all of our partners and we survey the folks who are actually eating the food annually. So we are getting, in addition to then the real-time feedback that we get from these QR codes. So we take sort of consumer, if you will, feedback seriously because we want to make sure that not only are we using food that would otherwise go to waste, but that it's actually going to good use and that, folks are feeling fulfilled and happy with what they're getting. So, um, those are all the questions I have for you officially, Adrienne. Is there anything else that you wanted to make sure folks know about what you do or how we work with our partners? And then I'm gonna put Amy on the spot since she turned her camera on.
Um, you know, this community is really unlike any other. I mean, it's not, I mean, it kind of talks to my job, but I'm not from here. I'm from the South, and my husband is too. And this community comes together, and it's really incredible. It's the one thing that I fell in love with it immediately. And when times like this, when, everything seems to be so difficult, it's so just, heartwarming to see people just come out and and offer to do whatever they can to help out. What do you need? And it's, that's a good part. That's the fun part about my job is that I get to be that person that when they ask for help to be able to give it to them. So that's what I like the most about it. But it's just this community is what makes this place so special. And it's not just about us, right? It's everybody that supports us and it being Giving Tuesday and talking about all of that. It takes so much to make all of this happen. And we're just grateful for all of the support that we have.
Yeah, because we're having this conversation on Giving Tuesday, I got my donor thank you call from inside the house while
Oh.
we were sitting here. So,
Nice.
Amy, if you're willing, anything you would add to this conversation, or any feedback you would give us, or questions, or
I, you know, Andrea just took the words out of my mouth. It's having partners like you guys for Indy Parks. Linda, when you were at Indy Parks, our program was little, our food program.
Mhm.
Now, since we've partnered with the Second Helpings, it's grown. We've helped so many more people. We utilize the frozen meals on our mobile units along with our kids' meals at participating libraries.
Mhm.
Um, we also have a food pantry at Riverside on Wednesday, which I attend redirect on Tuesday. And that is a blessing because we do purchase some food from cleaners. We have a very tiny budget. And as you said, we've seen that need grow from, when I started 5 years ago, 30 participants at the pantry. Um, since I've taken charge in this position, like last week, we had 198. Well, not last week. Sorry, my apologies. The week before, when we had our basket, our holiday thing, and it was 198. On a regular week, we're still 130 to 160. So without the blessings of Second Helpings being able to attend that redirect on Tuesday, it has helped our community so much. So I couldn't do what I do to help my community without your guys' partnership and help. And Indy Parks is just so grateful for this partnership with Second Helping. So we thank you.
We're grateful for you, Amy.
Thank you. I
Um,
love it.
yeah, Adrienne and I were just having this conversation the other day. Like, it's 'tis the season, right? Everyone's expressing gratitude, and it's nice to hear you say those things. But of course, we feel the exact same way, right? We exist to serve. The community supports us so that we can ensure that food doesn't go to waste, that folks get access to healthy meals, folks get access to training. So, thank you for doing what you do, because otherwise we wouldn't exist. And yeah, so it's our pleasure. I think with that, I'm looking to my producer off to the side here. I think we are good to go on this Giving Tuesday. Thank you so much for joining us, or if you're watching this later, thank you for watching. Thank you, Adrienne, for all that you do. Thank you to our community in Central Indiana for serving, for supporting, for doing everything we can to help some of the most vulnerable in our community. I think we all wish we didn't need to do it, but we're grateful to have the opportunity and grateful for all those who make it possible. So have a great Giving Tuesday and a great holiday season. See you later.